Hello again and welcome to Gameplay, where today we're going to be covering an Atari 2600 classic, Pitfall 2 Lost Caverns. And Pitfall's a franchise that's been around since 1982 and is in fact still alive today through mobile platforms. Pitfall has spawned many sequels on various consoles, but its history has been plagued by games that have been deemed less than mediocre. In fact, a lot of people say that the franchise lost its charm after Pitfall 2. Now, Pitfall 2 was also ported to various consoles including the Sega SG-1000, the ZX Spectrum, the Commodore 64 and the Apple II, just to name a few, but it's the Atari 2600 version that we're going to be reviewing today. So, let's pop the cart in and crack on.
So, what can I say about Pitfall 2? Let's start with the objective. It's fairly straightforward, as is the majority of Atari 2600 games. Once again, you play as Pitfall Harry, who is on a quest to collect gigantic gold bars, a diamond ring, your friend or girlfriend, a mouse and a monkey, because why not? And the idea is to complete the game with as high a score as possible. On your quest for gigantic gold bars, a diamond, your friend or girlfriend, a mouse and a monkey, you will have to avoid a number of obstacles which include bats, eagles, frogs, eels and scorpions. Taking a hit from any of these will result in you floating back to the last checkpoint. Yes, that's right, there are checkpoints in an Atari 2600 game. Further to you having the inconvenience of having to go back to your last checkpoint and potentially having to replay the segment again, you will also lose points. From the moment you get hit to the second you touch the checkpoint pad, your score will continue to decrease. That really can suck if you completed the majority of a segment and have a long way back. Luckily though, there are some shortcuts you can take by taking a leap of faith off of certain platforms. Be careful to time this right, or else you may end up where you don't want to be. Woohoo! Oh, bollocks. Jumping from too high a platform will cost you, but it does not cost you big. It's worth sacrificing just 100 points to get further in the game that little bit quicker. Unless of course you are aiming for the highest possible score, then don't do it. A very important factor in the game is timing. You're going to need to time your jumps right and find the right spot to allow the bats and eagles to pass over your head. I always found the eagles harder to judge more than anything else. Pitfall 2 is not very long. When recording footage for this review, I managed to complete the game in 17 minutes, but that doesn't matter. I must have played this game through more than 20 times and I know this won't be the last time I play it either. As I mentioned in the intro of the last episode, Pitfall 2 contained a first for the Atari 2600. This was the inclusion of a 4-part harmony soundtrack. It was made possible by the DCP chip, a custom chip that was built into the cartridge and which was designed by the game's designer, David Crane. The soundtrack to the game is built up of 4 parts. The main game theme when you're navigating the caverns, the item get theme when you're collecting your gold bars, diamond rings, monkey, etc, etc, the balloon ride theme and what I call the death theme, even though you don't officially die in the game. The music overall is very catchy but can be repetitive. It's a good thing the game isn't very big. The only time it will really grate on you is if you keep getting caught by an enemy. I can't begin to tell you how much I used to hate hearing this. I do like the fact, however, that when you do collect an item, the music changes to be somewhat uplifting, which gives you a slight sense of accomplishment. There really isn't too much to say about the graphics, but this is to be expected from an Atari 2600 game. That being said, you can still make everything out and all the items look like what they're trying to represent. Some Atari games have had a tendency to not look anything like what they're meant to be. It's kind of like buying your favourite television show in tomato pasta form and not being able to make out what any of the bloody shapes are. Frogs, scorpions, eagles, bats, even all the items are recognisable. I especially like the water. It's simple, I know, and was used in other games such as Hero, but bear in mind that this game was made in 1984 and they probably didn't need to add that level of detail. Even Pitfall Harry's movement animation is nice and fluid. Unlike the previous game, Pitfall 2 is separated into multiple levels, and by levels I mean floors, with both horizontal and vertical scrolling, whereas Pitfall 1 was made up of horizontal scrolling and just 2 levels. Missing from the first game is the ability to swing on vines, jump on alligator heads, and the pitfalls that appear from nowhere. During the course of the game you will find yourself running, jumping, swimming, climbing, and even hitching a ride on a helium balloon. The overall level design is decent enough and it keeps the game interesting. It's only until the very last stretch of the game does it become to feel a little bit repetitive. I love Pitfall 2, and as much as I might get some heat for saying it, I much prefer it over the first game. The music especially is one of my favourite aspects, and it's one of my many happy memories from when I was a kid. I highly recommend you try and find the time to play this game. It typically sells on eBay for about £15 to £20 for the cart only. The game is also available on other current platforms such as iOS and Android devices as part of the Activision Anthology collection. Furthermore, the game is featured on the Activision Anthology that was released on the PlayStation 2, PC, Mac and Game Boy Advance.
So, in a rather large nutshell, that's Pitfall 2 on the Atari 2600. What are your thoughts on the game? Have you played it on other systems? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like the video, press the like button and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Finally, you can follow us on Facebook. So, that's 2 games reviewed and 2 that I've really enjoyed playing. Surely my luck on playing good games can't go on for too much longer.